All right, and welcome back to Code 4 Podcast. Today is Friday, the 5th of December. Man, I don't know about you, Sal, but I think November did like 75 miles an hour in a 30 mile per hour zone. I don't even remember much about November,
I
but
have to say, I have to say that this whole year has gone by so fast.
yeah, it has super flown by. But here we are. We're in December already, and we're actually recording our ninth episode. Uh, I never thought we'd be here. Actually, well, I'm sure we'll have we'll be in the double digits before the end of the year.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
so we strategically had planned to drop a couple of episodes we had pre-recorded in weekly segments, but we dropped two episodes right before Thanksgiving, just because we got ahead of ourselves. We wanted to make sure that we had recordings on deck so that we could drop them strategically. And so if we had to take a week off for Thanksgiving, we could. But I'll tell you, the last two guests that we had were such phenomenal guests that we just up and decided to drop their episodes, and we did them the same day. And so it's been literally 2 weeks since we've recorded, and I'll tell you, I don't know if you, I think we talked about it earlier, but I feel it. Like I I think we jumped on this. We wanted to create an episode today just because we kind of missed each other.
yeah. Like I said before, this is therapy, dude. Like hardcore. And somebody asked me that the other day. They were like, I was at work, and I'm on light duty, so I'm behind the desk, and they were like, "Oh, I heard you started a podcast," and I'm like, "Did you like and subscribe to that? Like, or are you just what do you do? What are you doing? You know, have you watched an episode? No, I haven't watched an episode yet." And I'm like, "Well, hit it, hurry up, and then add it." And then they're like, "Well, what are you talking about?" And I'm like, honestly, I really don't think that we have every episode like laid out so far. I'm like, and we can only talk about cop stuff for so long before it just kind of gets monotonous.
Facts.
And I go, it's honestly, it's just therapy. And then my buddy's like, he's like, you want to have me on? We'll both get fired. And I'm like, no, I appreciate it though. But like, I'm like, if you need a therapy session, bro, I mean, it's fucking therapy for sure. And then he's like, well, what about other stuff? And I'm like, oh, we can edit some stuff out, you know, if, you know, I usually just drop a bunch of F bombs, and then Ryan will have to edit it out because it's just too bad. And he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, we
I
can probably
don't
do
actually
something.
edit it out.
I know. I'm like, get it out, get it out, get it out. But yeah, I missed it. I missed you,
Missed
obviously,
you too,
bud.
buddy.
Yeah, when you vacate, bro, you vacate. Like there ain't
I
no
do.
getting a hold of you.
Like
I'm
I
like,
still answer the phone if it rings. I just there are times that I just unplug when I'm supposed to be in like recovery mode. Like I put the phone down.
yeah. I tried to reach out to you, and you're like, I'm on vacation, fam. I'll see you when I get back. And I'm like, fuck, all right, man. I
That is
appreciate
not
that.
what I said, but I get you.
Are you dying? And I said, no, not yet. And you're like, all right, drink water. I'll be back with you in 2 weeks.
Take some ibuprofen.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right. No, man. How was your Thanksgiving?
No, it was
For you?
good. We're up in right outside of St. Louis with Courtney's family. It was. We got 8 inches of snow dumped on us, which was amazing. I know a lot of people don't like snow. I'm a fan of snow. I love snow, actually.
I don't think a lot of people know how much 8 inches of snow is. I mean, it's not just what you would, it's what collects inside of it looks like almost like a test tube, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just for the record, 5 inches is a lot. It's a
Yeah,
lot.
it can be. Hey,
I have to edit that out. Again,
I
this is
actually
a junk episode, so it's fine.
I just pushed the button to see which one it was, but I didn't thank God it was the right one. Yeah, that you know, when we used to live in northern New York, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna get 4 inches of snow today," and I'm like, "That's it? Like, what are you guys so worried about?" And it's like, "No, it dumps, man. It dumps hard."
Yeah, we got feet of snow up there, but
Yeah, yeah.
but
Cat,
again,
what were you gonna say?
no, go ahead.
Yeah, no. Kat's family actually came up from California, so I got to spend the entire. Well, actually, it was like 2 days. They came up on a Thursday. Well, they came up on Wednesday night, and then of course Thanksgiving was on a Thursday. But yeah, we had a lot of turkey, had a lot of good food, man. It was nice spending some time with her family and kind of rubbing elbows. with them and sharing funny stories and stuff. I got to say, I love the holidays. I hate travel. I hate traveling for the holidays, but sounds like you were a couple hours away, maybe 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours. So I don't mind traveling during the holidays as long as I can drive. And Courtney's family was great. They opened their home to me just because I think they knew that it was the first year that my mom wasn't around for the holiday. So
Yeah.
they tried to make it special, which I appreciate. It was great. So,
Yeah.
but anyways, I hope everybody out there, all of our subscribers, they had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Even if you don't subscribe, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no. Especially more for the ones that subscribe.
Yeah, more for you guys. More for you.
Yeah. But if you know anybody that doesn't subscribe, then it's your duty to get on there and make them subscribe. Maybe that's a gift for the holidays. It's a free gift, and it's a gift that keeps giving. So
we do this for you.
I do. I've spent a lot of money for people, and they just don't know it.
I'm glad you brought that up because we are going to talk about some of that stuff today. So we're this episode again. We're just going to kind of talk about like how and why we got started and kind of some lessons learned along the way. We'll talk everything from equipment to platforms to just all the stuff that we casually talk about in conversation when we're not on camera.
Yeah. Well, I had the garage already all set up, and that was because me and Grabowitz, we were going to start that 2 guys garage style, type thing. But so it was kind of already pre-set up, and so I really didn't have to chase down like setting up like a podcast room like you did, which I actually love. It looks great, by the way. Your shit's coming together really nice.
Thank you.
So I guess I had already spent this money. I didn't have to go and chase too many things down. I already had the LED lights and stuff, and those are actual real neons. But yeah, as far as, and then I had a laptop, but Ryan, I mean, you were like, hey, let's start this podcast. And I was like, okay, well, fuck, here we go. And then it started with those chintzy ass little microphones that I divulged about purchasing the other day. And, it starts to trickle in. Like, you start wanting to kind of develop a better studio for people to see. Because, I mean, like, of course, they're going to listen to this on audio. And then, but like me, I watch my podcasts. I can't just sit there and listen to them. I have to see I have to see who's talking. So then, like, we're like, okay, like now we got to do camera setups, and like now we got to do lighting, and it's like now we got to do this, and now we got to do that, and like, if for the people that don't know, Ryan is extra. Like Ryan is super fucking extra. Like Ryan's like, oh, I need to get some extra hats for the show. I need to get some extra shirts for the show. I'm sure he bought shoes that you guys don't see for the show.
Real talk. How many times do you change clothes or get like change your mind as to what you're going to wear before the episode?
Well, I changed this hat twice, and then you guys don't see it, but I bought new Vans for the show, and you guys probably won't see them, but I feel good, and that's all that matters.
That's right.
So, actually, speaking of which, dude, I've had the same pair of Vans for 8 years. Like these just black classic Vans that just never, they're just diehards, and I just rocked them. And then by the time I wanted to go buy a new set, they're like, we don't make those anymore. And I was like, come on, man.
I have a set of Converse like that.
Yeah. My feet look really weird in Converse, Ryan. I got to tell you, I'm not the Paul Walker kind of look with like the pants with, from Fast and Furious. I can't pull it off. I look like I have like clown shoes on, man. I'm more of a Vans guy. Just that's what it looks better on me. So I'm going to rock with that.
Oh, I have Vans too, but like my Vans are the black and white ones. And I actually have 2 sets.
Yeah.
And then I have the Vans. We're kind of getting off on a shoe tangent now, but Vans had like their CrossFit EXO or whatever. So I bought a couple of those.
They make a combat boot now. Have you seen those?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Like a law enforcement combat boot. And I'm like, man, those things are looking pretty good. I might have to jump on those. Yeah.
But more or less, like we talked for years before we actually got this started. I want to say we talked. It was 18 months to almost 2 years ago is when we started with the idea. It kind of sat in development for about 18 months because like I had a lot of shit going on. I was living in a camper at a time. I was retiring from the military, changing careers, and a lot of personal stuff that just kind of it tabled it for a while. But the thought was always there, and even though Sal committed to it, probably 18 months ago, I knew that when I called him back up and said, "Hey man, we should actually do this," he was still on board, and
Hell yeah.
and he 100% was. So
Like I tell anybody, like my buddy Dana got me into firearms like crazy. Like he's like, hey, let's build some like sniper rifles. And I'm like, okay, like let's go. And like that was expensive, bro. Like that was, thank God I don't have kids because that was super expensive. But it's like his mental health. That's what he likes to do, right? And then who doesn't like to have a buddy to do something with? And then like when I was building this garage, like I you know, my buddy Grabowitz at the time, like he was recently divorced and like kind of finding his way through life again, like whether he was gonna, like he had just got out of the military, so he's like, hey, let's do this. And I'm like, I'll support it. Like I'll support anything. Like as long as you don't want to sit there and just drink all day and like get messed up and whatnot, like I'm down for it. If it's constructive, I'll do it. And then you asked me to do this and I was like, let's go. Like if it's gonna help, I'll do it. And then it helps me too, you know, not having kids and stuff. And like you get kind of bored after a while. I start tinkering with, like, you can only tinker with cars too, like so much before you actually start doing damage to you know, like the integrity of the vehicle. It's no longer just what you started with. It's like you're just adding things just to add things. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I look forward to these little side projects and stuff. And so yeah, when you said like let's go, and I was like, say less. Like let's do this. And I remember I didn't. You were like sending me like, oh, I got this camera and I got this microphone, and I was just like, okay, we'll start it up and let's see how it goes, you know. and then like you said, some things came up with you, no big deal. And then it didn't kick off right away. But then when you were like, hey, it's going down this weekend, and I was panic buying. I was like, I need this. Oh, shit. And so, yeah, like once I see somebody else jump into the water, then I'll jump in, you know. But I ain't going to go out there and wade by myself. Be like stuck out there with like the fucking Dutch boy with the finger in the dam.
So, I mean, we can talk equipment a little bit here. We're both, so just for the record, we're both running off of Mac operating systems, and that was out of sheer. If Apple wants to sponsor this video, they're more than welcome to. But that's just out of sheer not convenience, but
Coincidence.
Coincidence. Yeah, like I'm a Mac guy, and I think Sal's a Mac guy. So
I am now. I went Mac because after bodybuilding, I was gonna start my whole. I'm still gonna do that, but I bought this badass laptop for like editing and stuff, and like the guy, you know how they sell you. They'll always sell you. You're like, oh yeah, you know you need this, but this is a really good one. And I was like, well, fuck it, let's just go all out. So I had this thing sitting stagnant. So and then, you know, an iPhone only talks to another iSystem, and so I was like, fuck, it's time to get the iPhone. And then I got the tablet, and then I just.
Apple is so convenient.
It really is. I was a diehard Samsung fan for the longest, like a Galaxy, like the Note. Whoo, you couldn't pull me away from it. But then it was very incompatible. Even cars, like you go into like Uconnect, and it was like no, and it's like, you know, all of a sudden somebody introduces an iPhone into your truck, and it just automatically connects, and you're like, damn. I guess I got to switch over. So I finally switched over. Luckily, you had an, iOS. That's what it is, iOS?
Yeah.
Operating system, iOS. And then it just jives well. And the quality is good. You know, the camera quality. I would say the Mac, the laptops and like the hard Mac, the iMacs and stuff, their cameras are okay. You don't have to like, you could get by on it, I think. It'll look a little fuzzy. It'll kind of pixelate just a bit, almost like it has like a hazy filter on it or something like that. Maybe it's just because of the screen. But I noticed when we switched over to the iPhones, that was like, because we're using iPhones right now as our recording, and the iPhone 17, the Pro Max, the camera's just, for me, it's just
phenomenal. Yeah.
like
So
I said,
that's go ahead.
No, like I said, it reigns supreme on me with me. So I was just like, let's just run that.
It does. Like we tried several different cameras. Like I had a Sony A6400 that was it was a pretty cool camera, but it was incompatible with the platforms that we were using unless you used a capture card and you had to have a micro HDMI to a USB-C. All the extra components needed to make that work were just ridiculous. And then I had a Sony ZV-1F. It's like a vlogging camera that works pretty good. I like it, but it'll record in 4K, but it won't allow you to stream in 4K. And it's just the way the camera's set up. Now, I'm sure there's other camera that would be great for podcasting, and I'm sure all these other phenomenal podcasters use different camera setups. But for what we have what we have discovered right now is you don't need all that equipment in order to do a podcast. Really, you just need a good set of headphones, decent. You do need a microphone of some sort. Probably not the ones Sal started out with.
Yeah.
But you need a decent microphone and you need a decent camera, and you can get most of that through your iPhone. So you can actually use like AirPods with built-in microphones, whatever you need. So you don't need a lot of equipment to do this. We are. I know Sal said I was extra, but we are extra.
Thanks, Ryan.
Just as extra as I am. So
I am extra. So if people don't already know, like my friend Brandon Kayot, he makes fun of me sometimes. He's like, "Man, bro, you were born in the wrong era because like you love the '80s," and I'm like, "I love '80s neon, like pink and blue, that contrast. That's why I like right now this lighting that I have on me. Like I just love it. I just love it a lot. And so I kind of geek out on lights and stuff. And I think you definitely need to have something in the background, of course. Like you have to do something that pulls attention. So it's a lot of really weird things. Like you have to have decent audio, and then you have to have decent visual. But at the same time, like you can't just be behind a white wall and then just sit there. It just does not attract enough attention. It just doesn't hold the attention. And then, dude, I don't know about you, but the hardest thing is it's like speaking in one's head, everything flows out really good. Like, but speaking to a microphone, speaking to another person, and especially being recorded, that's a whole different ball game.
Is, yeah.
And then especially like right now, we're unscripted, and most of the time we are unscripted. And it's so, dude, I'm sure people sit there and like, oh man, this guy sounds like trash, or like I'm sure that they're like, man, he uses a lot of filler words like and like and this, and
this ain't no TED Talk.
It's so hard. And I would, for those people that will sit there and critique, you know, I invite you to do this, because like you'll learn a lot about yourself. You'll learn about what you do wrong with vocabulary. Like I dropped the F-bomb a lot, and I looked back in one of the videos and I was like, ooh, that's not good. But so it's kind of funny. It's really funny. Yeah, and we spent. I don't know about you, but I've already bought a lot of things that I haven't used again.
Yeah,
like camera mounts, and like, but I think the ones that I use the most, like not even the expensive mounts, it's like the cheap $25 mounts that I use the most from like Walmart, and I like those things. Like those things come in clutch for me.
Yeah, so we talked about cameras. Cameras, like right now, iPhone is, like you said, it reigns supreme. Eventually, we will upgrade our camera systems. But you know, right now we can't really justify it. I think Sal was looking at like a $4,000 camera, like with 50 plus subscribers right now. We'll get there.
I'm going to give those 50 plus subscribers are going to get the best video possible.
That's right. But one day we'll upgrade. Right now, this is for free. We don't monetize any videos. We do this sheerly out of it's a passion project for us. We enjoy doing it. It's therapeutic. We enjoy having guests on, and not all of our guests are law enforcement, like Sal said earlier. It's like we like to hear about other people's success stories and kind of learn about their lives, and it challenges us to have certain conversations that we wouldn't otherwise have ever gotten into. But when it comes to certain equipment, I don't even want to add up all the money that I've spent.
I did.
Oh God, what is it?
I think, well, with including today's purchases, because I bought a new boom, and I think I'm right at like, $3,200, $3,400 or something like that.
No, that's fair. I'm probably probably close to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the way I justify it is like, okay, what else am I going to do right now? I'm like, am I going to sit there on the couch and spend my time not doing something constructive? Or I could be at the bar drinking and then ending up in the same spot the next day. Or I could spend my money on this, max out my time, have a good conversation, do some therapy with it. And I don't know about you. I feel so much better that I've spent this money, Ryan.
I do too. I actually have a box full of the excess equipment, is what I call it, right?
Yeah.
And it's all the stuff that I've ordered since we started that I thought that was, hey, this would be a good idea. Hey, this would be a good idea. But when put into practice, it's trash.
Yeah. What are those items that you would say, and not to discount anybody if they have them or any maker, but what would you say was like a needless purchase that you're not using?
I would say so. I think the biggest useless stuff would be different lights. I think we're on like our fifth set of studio lights. I had a ring light at one point in time. A lot of the different mounts. I think I had like 5 different microphone mounts and camera mounts. A lot of those were just junk that I bought off of Amazon, and I really should have listened to you because you said once before, like buy once, cry once. Yeah, like now I've since reinvested in those better items. So like the Rode booms, I have this really cool camera boom that my camera's mounted to now. Yeah, I'm gonna turn my phone to the background just a little bit, but you can see I have
Go there.
a whole desk set up over there with the Rode mics.
Yeah.
We have.
I like that cantilever mount that you have back there.
Well, so that was the previous microphone boom or the camera boom I was using before this one. But
Stinks.
it works out good for the desk area.
Yeah. Yeah. So right off the bat, because Ryan was like, "Hey Sal, like you really should invest in Rode mics," and he has a Shure mic, and he's like, "Don't spend so much money. Like you don't have to go spend that much money because I think that one's like $400 for that, just for that microphone alone by the time you're out the door." And he's like, "But you can get these other Rode mics." And when I saw these Rode mics that he was talking about, yeah, exactly. So the only difference between that one that he has in his hands and the one I have in mine, go lay down. Jesus, come on. Go lay down. The only difference between the two mics is that this one is able to be connected to USB. So if I grab my laptop and I were to go to like a friend's house with a road trip or something like that, I could just pack my laptop with me and then pack one of these or just the Rode mics, and then I can actually connect these 2 Rode mics to my laptop directly without having the mic or the processor. Go lay down. And then it also has a jack in the back so you can hook up your earphones to it. So I opted to have that option later on, and I'm sure it'll probably pay off one day, but for now it hasn't paid off at all. So did I need to spend the extra $100 on each mic? No, but I'd rather need it or have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. And then I saw these booms, and of course I was like, well, why not? Like you're already there.
They do look really professional.
Yeah, I like them, and they're really good quality. They're like they're made of really high grade quality, and like the coatings on there and the stickers and everything. Like
pull your other one into focus, so you can see it.
Yeah,
there we go.
I have 2, so if I want to bounce back and forth, and that one's for my guest. But I have 2 of them, 2 booms, because 1 is none and 2 is 1. So I figured that I have backups. And then Ryan talked to me about getting just that little boom arm, but my studio is set up a little bit different. So I figured like that way, if I wanted to kind of come out here and I could just adjust everything to where I wanted everything to be. So I find if you're going to spend $80 on the small little one that doesn't extend so far, just pay the extra $100 and then get the one that can actually reach out and touch somebody.
I do like your new stools, by the way.
Oh, did you see those? Did you see?
I did now, yeah.
Kat bought these for me for my birthday. It was on the 1st.
Oh, well, happy belated, brother.
Well, thank you. Yeah, so she bought me some. She's like, "What do I buy somebody that has everything that they want?" And I'm like, you hit the nail on the head, baby. You know, like it's so funny. Like what should you buy me for my birthday? Like it's somebody that already just buys themselves what they want. Shoes. I'm gonna buy my own shoes. You know, like I have my own style. My sister hit the nail on the head on a pair of Nikes, I will say, and they look like they're what do they call them? Nike Air Max. I think they're Air Maxes, but they're all white and they totally look like I need to be driving a Corvette when I wear them. And so I'm gonna use them when I drive the Hellcat and I go down to like cars and coffee or something like that.
You got to get some white crew socks and wear with them.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Socks, like, dude, I think socks are those things that you just won't buy for yourself. You know, like where you're like, I'd rather buy this right now than that. And then like those are the premium gifts I think I like when people buy me like socks and undershirts. I'm like, fuck yeah, because I wasn't gonna buy that for myself.
So I have a sock problem. I think I have 4 drawers of socks. I have everything from boot socks to stance socks to workout socks to running. It's ridiculous.
I do that with holsters. Like gun holsters. I have holsters to let my friends in, you know? And, I don't use any of them but one. And I thought I should have just stuck with the old leather and that's it. But yeah. The other thing was the processor that Rode makes. They make this really sweet what do they call it? Rodecaster Pro. You got the Duo, and then I got the one that'll allow me to put 4 people on one podcast. Again.
So what that means, ladies and gentlemen, is we need 4 guests to show up at Sal's house. 4 at a time. Well, 3 plus him.
But now that you said that, I'm gonna have to go buy 2 more booms and 2 more mics because I'm gonna have to have like a little round robin. You know,
we need like an entourage. And anybody that wants to come hang out locally while we podcast, you can be in the background.
That, I think that would be kind of cool. Just to have a bunch of my buddies in the back, just heckling and just throwing shit in from the peanut gallery.
I don't think it would be productive.
No, they'd be probably saying like dumb stuff or just making cat calls.
Like you did at me when I was at Starbucks yesterday.
Yeah, because you did that to me while I was like on dispatch. I was like, I think I had you on speakerphone and I was logging off, and you're like, "Oh, who yeah?" And I was like, "Oh no." But yeah, the Rodecaster Duo microprocessor is, if you guys are going to do anything, honestly, just buy the Duo. It works so well, and it grasps everything. It grasps all your headphones, and it grasps your microphones, and then really lets you tune everything in, even adjust your audio settings and things like that. And then it just goes directly to a USB-C port, just one connection to your laptop, and it doesn't matter if it's an iMac or an Apple like MacBook or anything like that. It'll work with anything on Acer or Alienware or whatever you have. It's going to work with it. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk on is we went through 2 different podcasting studios. 3, that's right.
Yeah, we started with Podcastle.
Yeah, and quickly we started realizing that even though our audio was good, our hardware was great, we started noticing that the software would only limit it, like only allow so much to compress and then upload. So what we were seeing, guys, 1280 on our recordings, like it looked crystal clear, and we were like, oh, this is going to be grand. This is going to be great. And then it would upload, and it was just like, whoa, that got compressed really bad. So I
Yeah,
think,
so we started with Podcastle. Podcastle was kind of the very and that kind of factors into the cost of these things too. Like the Podcastle subscription, like I think I paid like $300 for the year when we first started that one, but we never really took off on that. That one's just something I pulled the trigger on prematurely, and I just ate that cost. And then we when we started, we went to StreamYard, and we were discovering now StreamYard
StreamYard,
is kind of cool. Like
it's really good.
the now there's some benefits to StreamYard is you can add filters and clean up your face and all these effects and stuff that you can do. Now with StreamYard too, what we learned is like you have to keep your recordings under 2 hours. Anything sub 2 hours, it kind of opens the door to like different AI tools being used where it automatically creates some reels and closed captions and transcribes everything for you. So that was kind of neat component of StreamYard, but it would not record in 4K. 1080p was the best you were getting.
Yeah.
And then we decided to jump to Riverside. Now one of the things I don't like about Riverside is with StreamYard, I had the ability to share my screen, and some of the tools were like I can share my screen and do it, but I could load up photos and bring them up a whole lot easier than I could with StreamYard or with Riverside. I just haven't really figured that out yet. But
Yeah, I think it's just a learning curve, honestly, with these. I think as we go on, and we start messing with them a little bit more, I think we're gonna be able to use it to its max potential. But StreamYard was just so much easier, I think, for like the guy that's coming in doesn't really care too much about the quality of what's going to be posted. Now, the difference is between StreamYard and Riverside, like you said, is that 4K ability to upload. And that's because StreamYard, you have to download it, and then it either uploads it to a cloud, or you can download it to your own hardware in your laptop or your PC or whatever you have, your desktop. And then from there, you can actually load it onto YouTube and at a very slow rate, and it compresses very nicely, and you lose very little quality in that transfer. Where StreamYard was just, it was just very streamlined, should I say. But that's where they were like, hey, I think it's just like one of those things where they're like, well, if we're going to lose quality for convenience, then it's okay, where I like quality a lot more. And if it just inconveniences us just a little bit, I'm willing to deal with it. And it's honestly, it's an extra 2 steps, honestly, but I don't know. I like this.
I do like Riverside. I do like the crisp, the professionalist. I can't even talk today. The professional look that we get from Riverside versus StreamYard. Now, again, StreamYard was very easy to use. Riverside's not difficult. Now, I will talk like all of these. We talked about Podcastle, StreamYard, and Riverside. All of these require the use of Google Chrome. For some reason, even though we're Mac users, it does not like Safari. Safari is just it won't work. So you actually have to download Google Chrome and use that as your browsing driver for this. But with Chrome, everything seems to work fine. You can you save everything, and but it just does not like Safari, dude.
Yeah. So and the other thing is like Riverside will default to 1080 unless you or you have to manually go click 4K before you start recording. Did you do that today?
No. Yes,
I don't think you did. No.
I did.
Did you? Did you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Mine says 1080p right now, quality, but that might just be a lie.
No, it says recording resolution 4K Ultra HD.
Damn. See, I like that. Yeah, there's some funny little tricks with these things. I do, we're learning as we go along. Mm-hmm. I think the hardest thing is being able to just have a conversation. And it's so funny because we'll sit here for 2 hours a day and just talk and talk and talk. But you have to also have somebody to talk with, I think. Mm-hmm. Unless you know the material back and front where you're not going to run out of things to say, it's so much easier to do this with the co-host, I think.
No, I agree. Like I watch a lot of podcasts, and even the really good podcasts that I like watching, there's always two people involved.
Yeah, I watch there's so many podcasts out there, and that's the other thing. It's like, what kind of podcast are you going to be? Like what, like, you want to be out there and you want to share your experiences. Like I can only share so much without somebody pulling from me and then asking certain things because they're just not at the top of my head. But I find like a lot of podcasts are just trashing people. It's just a lot of negativity. Like very few, like there's so many podcasts that'll like trash law enforcement, and they're like, even them themselves are like, they're law enforcement. And I know we talk about like certain things like physical fitness and the necessity to be command, like to give command presence when you're somewhere. But like that's constructive criticism, and we're not trying to talk down to anybody about that. We're just saying, hey, like there's a deficiency, and right now is the time to address those things and stuff like that. So I think that's why I wanted to do this, and I just want to put a positive light on certain things, and it doesn't have to be negative all the time. Like it doesn't have to, and that's what I wanted to focus. And I wanted to bring the little guys, like there's the Jordan Petersons or Jordan Peters or whatever his name is, like there are these scientists and these like well-known people, but there's so many great people within your community that have these amazing stories, and no one is ever going to hear them. And I'm like, dude, everyone's worrying about the $100 bills on the floor, and there's so very few of them scattered around. But like, there's an abundance of like these dollar bills just sitting around here, like it's more, and not to call people less than, but it's just, there's more common folk than there are these like starlights,
Right.
And I'm like, dude, like you have an amazing story. I have an amazing story. And I'm going to say that for myself because I'm my biggest booster, like I think my story is pretty fucking cool. But there are like Aaron, like Matt that we just interviewed, like brought a tear to my eye while we were interviewing him. I had to shut the fuck up. I just had to shut up and just listen because I was like, man, like I'm gonna break out in tears right now.
For the record, for Matt's story, like so we recorded 2 episodes that weekend, and we were gonna strategically release them. And I even told Matt that, hey, it's probably gonna be a couple weeks before we publish your podcast. But his story is so deep and so impactful that. And we thought, well, what if we just release them in opposite? And I was like, no, man, I already got them labeled. So that's why we just kind of decided just to full send, and we released both episodes at the same time. And we love our community, we love our friends, and we love hearing their stories, and we want to get their stories out there. And so we want more guests. If you want to be a guest on the podcast, please reach out to us. We actually have a couple guests lined up. We got another recording this weekend, and then another one next week. But we want to have you on. We want to hear your stories. We want to talk about your successes, even your failures. That's the whole purpose behind this thing. We're not perfect. We may never make any money off this thing. That's fine too. We just do it because we enjoy doing it, and we love you. When I say we love you, fam, when I close out a podcast, we're not joking. We actually do love you.
I really do. Yeah. And I honestly, like people have hit me up in the past, like, hey, like let's do a podcast together. And I'm like, I don't know if I believe in you enough, like I believe in you, Ryan, and you keep me, you keep me wanting to be a better person. And I'm like, man, I got to strive to be like Ryan. And I need somebody like that to hold me accountable. So doing a podcast with you is like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm going to do that shit for sure. Like he's not going to let me spiral out of control on here.
Bro, you hold me accountable too.
I don't know about that. I think I'm a bad influence on you when it comes to spending. So
no, I'm my own worst enemy in that arena. I am extra. Yeah.
You're like, hey Sal, what about this? And I'm like, I'm already buying 2. Yeah. That's why I like to do this. Honestly, it feels good just to get things off my chest and just talk to somebody. And if like nobody ever listens to this, then it's still out there. It like the information is still out there. It's off my chest. It's off my back. It's decompression. Super. Like my buddy Stout that we had on here, my buddy Leslie. He like hit me up right after he got home after we had finished recording that podcast, and he was like, bro, I feel really good right now just like talking. And I'm like, freaking A, dude, like whenever you want to get back on here, like just let me know.
Yeah, we need to have him back. And I was happy to see that Kyle has started his own page. Now he started his own Instagram page where he's been talking about. I've watched some of his stuff where he's talking about finance and investments and a lot of the Montana specific stuff. Yeah. But I reached out to him. He is starting a YouTube. He's just waiting on some gear to actually before he starts his actual podcast channel.
And that's the bottom line. Yeah. You can find him on Instagram, and you'll see like a little. It almost looks like some kind of like graph on the picture, and this is like the bottom line. I thought that was pretty catchy. I was like, man, that's a really good name for it. And this is the bottom line, you know. So we have some. You know, we're influencing some people, and I dig that. You know, I think Kyle could talk forever about finances. You know, he's so freaking passionate about that stuff, and I love it. You know, like we need more people like that, of course.
But Kyle's a guy I would listen to and actually take note. Like you see all kinds of people on TV and podcasts, and they put information out, but really, it's about trusting the source. Now that I've met Kyle, I trust the source, and he's not somebody out here who's trying to make a dollar or promote his own material. No. He really just wants to inform the public.
Yeah, exactly. And it's genuine, right? It's you can see it's the genuine information that's coming through. It's addictive. And like I watch his podcast, or not his podcast, but his YouTube. What are they? What do you want to call them? It's like shorts. They're pretty lengthy.
His reels, but I think Instagram allows up to almost 10 minutes on a reel.
That's awesome, man. I remember when like I could only record up to like 90 seconds, and I'd have to get as much information out there as possible, and just be like, whoa! And then of course I think like influencers like that were already like verified that they could do it for like 10 minutes, and I'd just be sitting there like, how are they doing this? Like, but of course like they had some kind of software like we have right now that's allowing them to do that, and they upload it on the side or on the back side. But I was just trying to do it on my phone. So, but Kyle is in the infant stages, but I think his stuff is going to grow quick. Honestly, I really do.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Having guests like that, you know, it's so addictive, you know, like right after we're done recording, I'm like, who's next? Like, who's next? Like, when are we going to get somebody else on here as well? You know? And I'm just thinking like the Rolodex in my head.
And you don't have to be in-person guest. You can be a remote guest. So we can send you a link. You can come on here virtually. All you need is a phone. All you need is your phone. You don't even have to have headphones.
Yeah, just like Ryan said, like a phone, and everybody has ear pods or like Beat Studios or something like that. That works just fine. And because of this system, it allows us to record and upload onto our computers, so then it doesn't come in like hazy, like Matt's, right? Like when we were recording Matt, like his signal was coming in like so blurry, and we were like, oh man, I hope this comes through. And then sure enough, because Riverside is how it's set up, it uploaded like damn near perfect. And I was like, pfft.
Yeah, so I will give kudos to Riverside. I'll give him a little plug here. With where Matt is located in California, he's actually living in a camper right now on somebody else's property, and so his Wi-Fi service out there is pretty shoddy. I recorded with Matt once before, and it was grainy the entire time, and it was like 2 hours was just wasted, and it sucked. And so when we upgraded to Riverside, I actually tested with Matt ahead of time. And just like he said, like the entire time I saw Matt on screen, it was very pixelated and like delayed video response. The audio came through just fine. But when I downloaded it, it came across as 4K using Riverside. Now, when we did Matt's episode, for some reason, I think it was his Wi-Fi connection again, It took him, like right now, looking at the screen where Sal and I are recording this podcast, it constantly uploads as we're recording. And right now it shows 99% uploaded. So as soon as we close out, it's probably going to upload for like another 30 seconds and the episode's done and ready to go. But for Matt on that day, his recording took hours, and so we had to have him leave it open, and I had to send him a link so he could finish the upload process. But it got stuck at processing at like 97%.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I was defeated. I was mad. I was like, if I lose this episode, that's the second time I've had this guy record with me, and his story is so impactful. I was like, I can't lose it. So I reached out to Riverside. I had to go through a chat session first before they sent me over to like email correspondence. And they actually went in with their text and added some magic voodoo shit to it and whatever. And but they made it finish processing. And so we actually got a 4K resolution recording, and it was complete. So I was like, oh, thank God, because I did not want to lose it.
I got to be honest. Right when you sent me that text message, you're like, this is the third time I've recorded with Matt, and if I fucking lose this right now, I'm fucking pissed. And I just got sent right back to Fort Drum, New York, when you were my boss, and I was like, oh man, I just feel like I let down my boss because I talked him into this, and I was just like, he is gonna be so mad with me because I'm the culprit.
Why would I be mad at you?
I don't know, just because you were like, oh, if this doesn't work, then we're going back to StreamYard, and I'm like,
oh yeah, I got you.
And I was praying, dude. I was praying so hard. I was like, please, God, I said, grant him a little bit of patience so we can get through this. But the other part that, with the 97% that was pending, the whole time I was just like, man, that's got to be rough to bring that out every time, like to bring out those demons and those skeletons and stuff. And I was just like, I was like, please God, don't let this go, don't let this fall on deaf ears, like we need this out there, like, please. Yeah. And like, I was so thrilled when you're like, fuck yeah, I went through, and I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like,
and as soon as I got the email from him, I instantly ran upstairs and I downloaded it, and I watched through most of it just to make sure, and I was like, yeah, this is getting published now. When you were like, yeah, go ahead, just full send it. And I was like, no, we're sending both episodes right now.
That's the funny thing with us. Like, I could have been like, no, Ryan, we gotta set those things. Let's make some shorts first and let them out for about a week first, and then like we can grasp everyone's attention. And then you were just like that kid on Christmas, and I was like, fucking just send it, bro. Just let the big dog eat. Like, I don't care right now. We'll record more. We'll have more interesting guests. But that one, I agree with you 100% on that. That one needed to come out like ASAP. We were holding something gold there, and it was like acid in our hands. Like, we just needed to get it out. Like, get it out.
So here's some of the things that we're not very good at. Patience is one of them. Like, as soon as we get something good, we're like, we got to send it now. But like I've watched a lot of tutorials and stuff lately on like like managing social media. Like over the Thanksgiving holiday, I did send you a screenshot. Just our Instagram page alone, within 30 days, I was looking at some of the analytics, and it had 21,000 views in that 30 days, or 21,000 interactions, which is great. Like I appreciate that, and we don't do this for likes or follows. We'd like to get as many people that would follow and subscribe or whatever. But really, we just want people to see it.
Yeah.
But what I'm learning is that like it needs daily interaction in order to reach more people. And it's just finding the time to sit down and go, okay, I got to carve another reel out. I got to post something today. It's that constant engagement point that I'm kind of weak on right now, as well as like, Riverside records great, but like we need to sit down. We need to carve. We're probably the only podcast out there without an intro video right now. We still haven't really done that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had a really cool intro video that I was working with, like old cameras that I was like had laying around, and I had like, I made that short video just to test to see if I still had my wits about me with editing and stuff. And of course, like now, you don't even need to edit your own stuff. You could literally just have like AI do it for you and stuff. But I don't want to. I don't want to rely on that. But so I tested it, and I was like, man, we need to make a cool video, like an intro video. And the cool thing is that you made like a short that has like, it's on Instagram, but we need to figure out how to get that on here. But the only problem with that is like licensing, right? Like the music that's behind
because
there.
there's music associated with it. So I don't know how all that like. I've thought about that. Like, but how are we able to use music cuts like that on Instagram and on TikTok and is reels without it being?
So I dove into that a little bit, and there's like non-licensed, or there's like non-licensed music that's out there, or there are artists that allow their music to be played like that and used. So I think it would just be having to sift through what's available and then doing that. But I honestly thought about reaching out to my favorite band and being like, look, like we're two veterans, two cops, like please let me use this. I would love to like use your music. I think it would be awesome.
Is it an 80s hair band?
Oh no! Well, yeah, I guess it is. They're a Canadian band. Don't hold that against them. But they're like this retro funk, like new age. It's a really cool band that I've been following since like 2007, 2008.
Who are they?
It's a band called Chromeo. Just like the word chrome with an O at the end, Chromeo. But they have like this funk, like this 80s, this 70s funk mixed in with like Zapp and Roger. Like they got this like auto tune going with, like it's a lot of feel good music. And I've seen them live, I think 3 times. And Kat, my last birthday, she surprised me and then got me tickets to 2 of my favorite bands got together. Like the wildest 2 bands that one was up and coming, and then the other one was Chromeo, and the band's called The Midnight. And I was always like, man, I wish one day that they tour together, you know? And they did, dude. And like it was down in Phoenix, and we went and saw that. And like she got me like VIP tickets to meet them and stuff, and we knocked that out. Ace, get away, go. But
I'm actually really disappointed in myself that I didn't know that the 1st was your birthday. I'm kind of mad about that right now.
I don't post. I think the only reason that anybody knew about it is because like Facebook posts it, you know. But I'm not. I'm like Prince, you know, like the artist formerly known. What's his name? Is it Prince again? Yeah, I think it's Prince.
I don't know.
But yeah, I'm like him, where he like people would be like, "How old are you?" And he's like, "Oh, I stopped counting a long time ago. Like I don't celebrate my birthdays because I don't believe I'm getting older." Like. And he's like, I think you age yourself when you start putting numbers and you start having like expectations. Like I feel like I'm 21 still, you know, like my comedic relief is still 21, you know.
Did you still look 21? So
well, I appreciate that. And Kat said something the other day, and she's like, when you put a hat on, you look really young, you know, in the way like my style. And but if I take my hat off, then I look kind of scary because I have a bald head, and like. And for everybody that's watching that used to know me for having like this crazy ass like hairdo with this pompadour, and like I had a haircut from what was his name, the Terminator from Terminator 2, the T-1000. Like he had that. That's how I had my hair as a cop, and people were like, "Oh, grow your hair back," and I'm like, the job killed my hair. Like the stress of my job killed my hair, and I never thought that was going to happen to me, but it did. And so like now I just have a bald head, and I look like unapproachable with like with just my head bicked and stuff. So I'm like, I'll just do the head, you know, do the hat thing. And people are always like, man, you look so much younger with the hat on. I'm like, well, I guess I'll rock with it, you know. But I think it's how you carry yourself too, Ryan. I think if you start aging yourself by like wearing like age appropriate clothes, like I love wearing like my English, what is it, Irish setters and like a pair of fitting pants. And I like to tuck in my shirt now, you know. I do like it, you know. So in some aspects I do have that age appropriateness to my style, but for the most part I just try to keep it fresh. And you know, somebody the other day was like, why do you wear tight pants? Like that's not what's in. And I'm like, I don't go with like what's popular. Of course, like you have popularity influencing fashion. Of course, like that you're wearing what somebody's picked out for you to buy. So you're not really original, you know. But I feel like my style has been kept for such a long time that that's who I am now. And like, I like the style that I have, and that's just it. And so I rock with it, and it keeps me looking fairly young. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm a skinny jean guy too.
Like baggy pants came back, bro. And I am not, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the, that mushroom haircut that everyone has right now with the Jerry curl, the perm.
Oh, you mean the squirrel cut?
Bro, like some of these new, and I'm just thinking in my head, like, what did I rock back in the day that my, like the older generation was probably like, what the hell are you doing with your hair, and that was probably like the faux hawk, but I look back at the faux hawk and I'm like, it looked great, girls liked it. And like, if I was a girl these days, I could not look at this guy coming in with this mushroom on top of his head and being like, yeah, he's I want to jump his bones. Like, no, I'd be like, he's an idiot. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I rocked the hard part for a long time. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Like there was a hard part, and they had like the line they would cut in. And I agreed. I agreed with the when I was a barber for a limited amount of time, people would always ask, go lay down. Because people would always ask for that hard line. And I'm like, dude, your hair doesn't need it. Like, don't cut into it if your hair doesn't need it. Like, but a lot of people still rock with that, and they were like kind of cutting it into their hairline. So after a while, people just had Ace, go. People had like this weird hairline that it was like you had to keep on it, and then before you know it, like there was some point where it was just like, bro, you jumped through too many barbers, and they just chopped off your forehead. Like, just let it all grow out. So I think the classic styles though that I truly like was the rockabilly. The rockabilly haircuts, I think I always like those. And then you could integrate that with like a bit of like, I don't know, like a tough guy look, just like with a fitted shirt, fitted jeans, and like maybe some boots, like I always like that look. I just felt like it's timeless, like you look like you were a mechanic almost, like on your time off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have that rustic look about you too when you dress. Like you look like a lumberjack. Like you're out the backyard chopping wood,
I like flannels, man.
Oh man, I have a whole collection of flannels right now because it's like finally cooled down where I'm at, and I'm just like, man.
Yeah. So the Thanksgiving holiday, we we stumbled into this Carhartt outlet. Oh, bro. Carhartt, if you would like to sponsor us, you're more than welcome to. Like, I would literally wear a Carhartt item every single episode.
I like the vests from Carhartt, like those the canvas style vests. But I like the female vests better than I like the male vests, because like the female ones they're fitted and like they're tapered like a lot nicer. And I'm like, man, too bad the zipper's backwards, Otherwise I'd rock that shit all day long.
So the one thing I don't like about the vest, like I actually have a couple Carhartt jackets, the heavier weights, and they are they are very practical. They work. They're like, I've never gotten cold wearing one of those jackets. But the vest I don't really care for, because they have this little ducktail in the back.
That's the one I'm talking about.
I realized that it has a practical use for it, so that if you lean up against something or you sit down, you don't get your pants wet. But it just doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't, like, it always lifts up the back. So I won't buy one.
Ace, go lay down.
Ace is like, I want to be on the podcast.
Well, so today I had to go to Las Vegas, and Vegas is a couple hours away from me, but I had to go up there for a medical appointment for my shoulder. It was just a checkup, so I had to put Ace up in his impact crate, and like if he's been in there for like 4 or 5 hours, like he's like, I want to come out and I want to play and like I want to do all the things and stuff, and so I usually put him up if I'm leaving town, and I know I'm going to be back within a reasonable amount of time. I'll just leave him in there with his water, and then because it gives access to Kat to come into the garage for any reason. Otherwise, I tell her like, hey, if I'm not here and he's out, you're not going in the garage. So that's why he's like right now he's just trying to be around me. And I appreciate it, but I'm like, well. So yeah, I don't know how we got to talking about fashion, but
yeah, I don't either.
Oh,
But it happens. Sometimes we chase rabbits on this show, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. So editing, editing is still a work in progress. It's been a bit of a learning curve. Luckily, with some of these platforms, we haven't had to edit much. Now, with some of the platforms, you can actually drop your recordings into like DaVinci and then make edits that way. We haven't had to do that yet. I'm sure we will in the future if we ever have a guest on board that we get into a topic that they just don't want to talk about.
Yeah. The other thing is like Riverside was so much nicer because you could set up 2 cameras, and I haven't figured out how to do it on these yet. But you could
Oh,
set
you mean
up multiple.
StreamYard?
I'm sorry, yeah, StreamYard. StreamYard, you could set up 2 cameras. So if I had my iPhone playing like right here, I could have my laptop also recording. But again, if there are different qualities, it's going to look a little bit different, a little weird. But it's nice though because if you have 2, you and another guest, like you could set up a camera just directly on them. So then you're not having to like lose the frame size or then just expand and then just have little people talking and stuff. So
Right. And what we do like about this setup here is that, like when we first started recording too, when you pick your layouts for the podcast in the different platforms, like we had some very wide angle projection set up first. So like our first couple episodes that are available on YouTube, by the way, go look at them.
yeah, so
They were very zoomed out, and so it didn't feel the frame. But recording like this in the manner that we are now, it will feel an entire TV screen. So we definitely like that better.
yeah. Yeah, and just playing with that, it's like what attracts the eye, like what attracts the viewer, the consumer. It's also what they want. It's not just what you want. And then also, dude, camera angles are everything. Like I did not feel comfortable just talking directly into the camera. I love a side profile. I just feel like I talk better, and like I talk to the screen. I talk to you on the screen right now. Like I'm not talking to the camera.
Correct. Yeah.
Because it's like if I hear you and I'm sitting here and I'm talking to 3 dots on the back of a phone, I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. So it's so much easier, as if you would see it like on TV, like when 2 people are talking to each other, the guy's talking to the screen, of course.
And most of the podcasters that I consume, that I watch, they're not looking directly at me. They're looking. It's either a side angle, or they have guests, and it's kind of a video footage of them both, but they're not. You don't get like front on face.
Yeah.
So this definitely works out better.
It does help though, huh? It does help to talk to the picture in the screen.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that. I do like that a lot. For me, that helped out a lot. And I think I'm just becoming more relaxed the more that we're doing this. It's hard. And I know why some podcasters like Sean Ryan, he's just like, that's interesting. Tell me more about that. It's like, you really listen to him, and he's only ever said like no more than like 20 words.
That's fair. Yeah.
And he has that about himself, and he has that already linked up. Ace, stop trying to creep over here. Dude, he'll put like one paw down and then look around and then make sure that I'm not looking at him, and then he'll put the other paw down and he'll slowly try to creep over here. Sorry about that. I lost squirrel.
But no, like, and a lot of the podcasters that I watch too, like, I'm sure that they have prep time with their guests. We don't have a lot of prep time. If we have a guest that comes and visits us either in our respective studios, we may have a little bit of prep time because then we have to change our setup. We have to go to a guest setup. Like this is just you and I right in front of a computer. We have our kind of a desk setup the way that we want it to, where we can record anytime, just you and I. Whenever we introduce a guest, like now we have to set up different camera angles to make sure that you capture the guest. Each guest has to have a microphone now. Like you have a setup there, I have a setup behind me that's pretty good for that, but it's still testing component that we have
because we have to be AV, we have to be the interviewer, we have to be the cameraman. Like we have to do it all ourselves, and it's like it's frustrating because like Ryan, you're running wireless earphones right now, like, and then sometimes it doesn't connect, but then if you have an extra person on and he's not running wireless, or he can't run wireless because you're running wireless, and then you have to have him corded. And then there's this really weird reverb that you'll get. And you're like, what the hell is going on? And then before you know it, it's frustrating. It's so frustrating. But I think that we're starting to dial those things in there. So it's like, if you're going to start a podcast, like, understand that you're going to run into little things like that, and you'll figure it out, and you'll know what works and what doesn't. And it's just a part. I think it's just the nature of the beast when you can't throw money at it right away. You know, there's little tips and tricks that you can do to squeeze out the best with what you have, you know, and it's just trial and error. I run, that's why I just started running the corded headphones, and I had a pair of old Beats by Dre, like the monster Beats that I had. I got those in Korea, and I was like, perfect. I finally get to use them. And then, like, slowly but surely, like the leather band that was up here, it started like fraying and like leaving chips on my hats and stuff. And I was like, I can't rock these anymore. They're already like falling apart. So then I went and invested more investing in. I should buy stock in that company. I'll tell you what.
We both should at this point.
Yeah. Speaking of Kyle, like, hey, Rode, if you're listening, I need the newest, freshest gear, please.
And Rode, I will put my Rode microphone back on as soon as I get the filter. I've ordered it from online. It just hasn't shown up yet.
Yeah. So these are the filters that Ryan's talking about, guys. And they help for like burst. What do they call that? Where you're like,
yeah.
Yeah. So like it doesn't really allow that to come through. I like them. And it just looks more robust, and so it kind of muffles it a little bit. But you don't get as much wind and stuff like that, like interference.
Because I've thought about buying the headset that you have too, but so the problem is like, I think we've bought a bunch of stuff and we never researched it. We were like, hey, yeah, this is Rode. Hey, this is Apple. Hey, this is big. So we never really researched compatibility. I bought a set of these when we first started, and I thought, well, if I have a guest on, these are the Apple AirPod Pro Max. I don't know what they are. They're from Apple. They were expensive, and then, they're good, but they're probably not worth what you have to pay for them.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, I need a set of matching ones just in case I have a guest on board. But then I had to navigate and figure out how to use them both
At the same time, simultaneously.
At the same time. And that's an issue sometimes, but you can plug them in with a cord, and I have the cords now, so that's fine. It's just navigating some of the technical nuances associated with this shit.
Yeah, I know the Rodecaster Pro, the mixer that we have, it allows for a wireless headphone set to Bluetooth to it, so you won't have any reverb. But just setting that up is a little weird, and then of course you can't connect two headphones to it. You know, that's the other thing. And so it's like, well, if you connect it to the system and then your guest hooks up to the laptop, then there's like a delay between the two. So he won't exactly hear it on time. Oh no, that was another issue that we had to try to like bridge that gap and say like, okay, well, let's just run it without a mic or run it without headphones right now. So it's kind of weird.
But I will say we've gotten pretty good with guests at like reaching out to them, getting bios, sharing that information ahead of time. Now I'll say that we don't rehearse any of these podcasts. There is zero rehearsal that goes into any of this, which probably comes through. Yeah, I'm sure you guys can probably see that by now.
It's especially like when you're just this is not exactly what we do all day long. Like I'm dedicated. I've dedicated myself to a lifetime of civil service. So like this is just 2 hours of my free time. And so I have a life outside of this, and this is just extra that I'm trying to like juggle at the same time. So it's like, we don't have like their guests coming and sleeping at our house the day before and then spending a whole day with them and kind of like understanding who they are so that we can sit here. I mean, maybe we should, but when we're recording from two different locations, you in Tennessee and me out here in Arizona, it's like so much harder to do something like that. So sometimes one of us has to take the reins on the person being interviewed and say, hey, since I know them the most, I'll take lead on this, and I'll ask them the most of the questions and stuff. But you know what I do wish, I do want more interaction from our guests, I will say, on asking us things, you know, because I feel like they always feel like they're just the ones being interviewed and they have to just speak on them. But it's not like that here. I want our guests to know that like they can ask questions of us too, and then
So we see that, but it's after the recording. So
yeah.
typically we'll do a recording once we close out, then we'll do like a post-session recording, just because normally that's where some of the good content actually comes into play. But it's like, man, like we had the camera rolling the whole time for the episode. You didn't ask
any of these questions, and then all of a sudden, like the camera, well, it's a separate recording, you know, and then you just see them, their demeanor just like settles down, and like they get comfortable. Yeah. They get comfortable and relaxed and stuff, and like, sure, we say some things that we can't air, you know, like there's certain things that people just want to keep private and stuff, so we can't air those things. But that's just the nature of the beast, because of course we're not independently wealthy, so we have jobs that we have to you know, mind and keep that. The public eye is involved with you know, with how I talk, and like how I don't just blurt out things anymore. So that's like one of the hardest things for me, is that I normally don't have a filter at all, and it just runs from thought to mouth like really quick.
I'm gonna throw this out there, but South City follows him or follows the Code 4 podcast channel.
They don't follow my Instagram, but they follow the podcast. This is wild, right? Like, it's so funny. And
as soon as we publish something, somebody from HR is screening that.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh my God, we're gonna get him. We're gonna get him in trouble somehow." Nah, no. I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, man, you don't even follow me on my social media, but you'll follow me here. Like, what is that? What are you trying to do? Like, what are you trying to? You ain't gonna get me. I ain't gonna say anything bad. That was like another thing that's really hard for me, Ryan, because you know. But at this point in my life, if I were to say anything that I find to be my truth, and like I'm really, really like passionate about, and I were to get fired for that, then I would just say whatever, like 100%, like, okay, fine. Then, you know, you're not my audience. Then I'm sorry. Then like, it wasn't meant to be. Right. Cause like, you know how much, I can get on a rant about this right now. Right.
Do it.
So many people are so worried about making money and getting this and doing this and like building a legacy. It's like in 30 years, no one is going to know who you are. Like unless you have children that are going to pass on your stories and stuff. But by the time 2 generations go by, like they're not going to talk about you anymore.
I shared that exact thing today on Instagram. It was,
and I reshared that because I truly do believe that. And it was so funny that popped up, because I was just like, I sit here and people are like, I know so many influencers that are like, hey, you got to get on my podcast. You need to do this and you need to do that. You need to be a part of my Legionnaires, and we're going to build you up, and we're going to build this, and we're going to do this. And then you can only do that if you sign up with me, and then you come on my retreats and you do this. And it's like, how much time are you wasting? How much time are you wasting trying to do this? And I get this, because in some small way, we're doing the very same thing on here, telling these stories. But if you guys get anything out of me, if you take anything away from me, it's that we are on borrowed time. And I don't care if you make millions of dollars, or you make absolutely no money, or if you're a cop and you make just enough to get by. We both share the same likeness as you put on the pair of pants one leg at a time, just like me. And guess what? Like, you're going to end up 6 feet deep, just like me. And you can't take any of this with you. I don't care how much money you think that you have and how important that is. It's not, because just like Kyle said, it's all make believe. And at some point or another, Rome fell. And so will all this. And I don't want to be 85 years old looking back and being like, I wish I would have not spent so much time. You know, I wish I would have spent more time with my family and my friends and laughing and stuff. So like, yeah, people sometimes say like, Sal, man, like you really need to watch your audience and like know your audience. And I'm like, life is too short to sit here and muffle myself and not say the things that are in my mind. Now, granted, some people don't want to listen to me, and that's okay. That's not for everybody. But if you're standing in my circle and we're all having a conversation and you should pass by and be like, I don't appreciate what you said. Well, you weren't a part of this conversation to begin with. You just walked by. So you can see yourself, just keep walking. That's the beauty of it. Like you have two legs, see your ass out of here. And I just think that so many people are so fixated on like this idea that they're going to live forever. And it's like, I found that out in Afghanistan, Ryan. Like I was just like, you know what? I'm going to live life the way I want to. And if it doesn't meet anybody else's expectations or what they believe is how somebody should live, like, okay, I don't go out of my way to hurt anybody. I help people, and that's what I do. And I enjoy my time off. And that's why I'm not a cop when I shut it off. Like when I take off my uniform, I take it off. And
yeah,
I live in the moment,
Yeah, like
So,
at some
rant-
point in
rant
time,
over.
oh, that was kind of cool. You went on a rant, and then we went on a sub rant to that rant. It was kind of
Yeah,
cool.
see, that's the way my mind works.
But like at some point in time, all the things that I value, all the things that I've spent money on in my lifetime that I have here in my home or wherever I'm at some point in time, my kids are going to have to contend with all that shit, right?
Yeah.
And just because I value it doesn't mean that they will. And so it's I don't care how much money a person has, what they have, so on and so forth. Like I buy nice things because I like nice things, but again, I live in a townhome. There's only so much I can do. Like,
Well, you work hard for what you have, and I do appreciate that too. And for those people that like to live in excess, all about it. That's cool. But
but I realize that I don't want my things to be a legacy. Like I don't need $1 million mansion. That's never going to be me. Now I wouldn't mind having a big farm one day, but we'll see. Maybe life will take me down that road. But I don't need a G6 or an airplane. None of that shit matters to me. Like I don't want my legacy to be a bunch of things. I would be okay if let's say this becomes our legacy down the road. Like maybe they don't remember our names, but now that we're all this stuff is memorialized on the internet, maybe somebody sees something one day, just like Matt's story. He didn't care about his followers and so on and so forth. If he could impact one person, then that's all that mattered to him, and that's really all I care about. This, like, I know that I'm never going to be a Joe Rogan. I'm never going to be a Sean Ryan, but I do enjoy doing this, and I hope that some of what we say, a lot of what we say is just gibberish and just banter back and forth sometimes. But I hope that either something that we say or something our guests say, because we're not the most whenever we have a guest on, we're not the most important person in the room. Their stories can be so impactful sometimes that like I don't care. I'm glad that we got to have them on, but their stories are the ones that count. So I hope that this becomes part of our legacy someday.
exactly. And that's why I'll sit here and people are like, man, you're ballsy to start this, like, cause like once it's out there, you can't take it back. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm not going to be a senator. I'm like, oh, well, like, I'm sorry. Like if what I say upsets people, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. You don't have to tune in. And like I said, I can become a mechanic. Trust me, I have a CDL. Like I can do whatever I want. Like I'm not testing anybody to fire me, please. Don't get that idea. I'm not throwing down a gauntlet and saying like, do it, but I'm confident in my skills, and this isn't the only thing. It's not the most important thing in the world. The most important thing in the world is what I'm doing right now, and that's living. And for everybody out there that stresses about their job and being the best, and you're never going to get the time back. Like, and I appreciate those people that do hard, good work because this world needs it. And if you're doing that hard work because you love it, then that's awesome. But like, if you're sitting there and you're taking home stresses every day because you're worried about a deadline, like that deadline is not going to matter in 10 years. Don't stress out about it. Like, do not take this stuff home. Like, disconnect.
Have a little joy now.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the other thing about me not having kids right away. Like, I look at it and I'm like, a lot of my friends got to really enjoy their kids at an early age, and I'm gonna have to enjoy my kids at a very late age, you know. And then one of the other things is people always ask me like, how come you're not married to your fiance? Like, why are you waiting so long? And I'm like, look, I had all the time in my life to make my mistakes and to do the things, but it's who I am. Like those mistakes have molded me. So I don't want to just lock her in and be like, here, this is like this. She's a prize. Like, yeah, she's a prize, but she's not a bird that needs to be caged. And I don't need to lock her in. If she's locked in, then she can't leave, then that's just an anchor for her. Like if who she becomes later on, you know, with her career and life pulls her to a new direction and she's like, hey, this is not the place for me anymore, then I'm fine with it. You know, I've done everything that I've ever wanted to do in this life. And that's why now I'm not reckless. Like I don't want this to happen, but at the same time, like I was not caged myself, so I cannot cage somebody else. And it's about living in the moment. Like you said, it's like cherish what you have now. It's like, don't worry about the deadline. Just live now. Like don't put a label on it. Just live. Get do the things that you want to do right now. And so I put off kids. And I was like, I like chasing that and stuff. And like, so I think the people that had kids early missed out on their 20s and their 30s, you know, and they're living in their late 30s, you know, and trying to make up for lost time, where I kind of did it backwards. So I did everything I wanted to do. Now, like, I'm going to have to be like waking up out of bed with a fucking sore back and be like, oh shit, someone's got to tend to the kid now, you know, like, here we go. So,
well, I mean, when you're 50, it'll be a good time for you to buy a minivan.
I don't know. I'll do a Tahoe. I told Kat, I was like, you are not going to be a minivan mom. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'll buy you a Tahoe. Like, that's what we'll do. Like, we're not that family. I'm sorry. Like, I don't want no slide out. Like, I'd probably buy her one of those old Ram vans. You remember those old school?
Like the A-Team van? That would be kind of dope. I could see you building one of those out.
It's all lowered and it has like a big block Ford in it, or like, you know, like a 440 Dodge, like big
Coyote
block.
engine in it.
Yeah, just like cammed out and it's like, blah, 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 blah. Ma'am, the CO2 coming from your vehicle is starting to burn the eyes of the children around here. It's like, suck it up. I think that would be so funny. But yeah, I don't know. Life's too short to drive something lame, Ryan. You know, wear your best cologne, drink your favorite drinks.
You know, it's funny. Like you mentioned cologne, because before we recorded this, when I was getting dressed,
You sprayed yourself with cologne to smell better.
I was like, oh, what am I putting cologne on for?
Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like I think sometimes before these episodes, I think I've kind of settled in to just hoodies most of the time, because I think a hoodie is comfortable. It does get kind of cold in this room, but I think you can still look good in a hoodie most of the time, unless it's just like a trash old stained hoodie. But there are times that I'll put on clothes and I'm like, I really don't want to wear a collared shirt for this, and I'll change clothes 5 times before. I'll go into my bedroom and there'll be like 3 different shirts that I tried on before I settled. Yeah. And so I just keep going back to a hoodie, and it is what it is.
It's funny that you say that, but like there's time, if you let yourself go down that route of just wearing hoodies and sweatpants, like you'll get stuck and you'll lose yourself because nothing fits tight anymore. And then you'll start letting your body go and you'll be like, well, it feels comfortable. So like, I didn't really feel the impact of that pizza right now. but like, look at him. He's trying to creep up right now.
I don't do sweatpants. I wear Ranger panties and skinny jeans. And
Kat's not allowed to wear. She's not allowed to wear. I think I've said that before. She's not allowed to wear sweatpants. Like, I remember I heard this one time. One of my sister's friends had a boyfriend, and she's like, "Oh yeah, my boyfriend says that if my hair is up in a bun, I'm not his girlfriend." And like at an early age. Like I think I was probably like 10 or 11 when I heard that. And I was like, that is wild. But like, Yeah, Kat, I'm sorry, but like you're not allowed to wear sweatpants. So like, so she wears like my Ranger panties or something like that. Like, I'm just like, I need to look at you and be attracted. Like, you're not allowed to look frumpy. And I know it feels probably comfortable, and people are probably gonna be like, "You're a misogynist for saying such a thing." I'm like, well, you know what? Like,
I don't think so. As long as you carry that same standard for yourself.
yeah,
Like if you're putting the effort in to be attractive for your partner, and you refuse to let yourself get to a point of being unattractive or even perceived as unattractive, then I think that's okay. Now, if it was a double standard, then okay, a lot of people may have issue with that. But
yeah, and that's the thing, you know, like, so I find so the other day I got all dressed up and dolled up, and like I shaved my head, shaved my face, like put on cologne, you know, and like I put on a pair of like skinny jeans and like a nice flannel and like a nice hat, and like Kat's like, "Whoa, what's this for?" And I'm like, because I noticed that I've just been wearing nothing but gym clothes, and like because like I get off work and then I go straight to the gym, and then I get back and then I take a shower, and then it's straight into like gym clothes, you know, and like I'm like, man, I can't do that. Like I got to get out of that funk. I got to get out of that habit of doing that, and at least at some point in time in the day, like you get to see me, like the man that you fell in love with, like the guy that
yeah,
attracted you at the bar that day, you know, or the gym. But that's the funny thing though, because Kat and I, that's where we met each other. We met each other at the gym. So like we were attracted to one another's like gym gear, you know, like she was
she
wearing
saw
like,
them Ranger panties, was like, yes.
she did. I remember, oh, so the funniest thing, a sidetrack right now. Funniest thing is like when I
Sorry,
first met
fam.
her, when I first met her, I noticed her at the gym, and she was wearing like her Yeti matched her outfit. You
What
know,
was your pickup line?
this is what it was. And I looked at her, and I think she was on the cable machine or something like that. And I was like, "Hey, nice gear. Like, I like the I like." And at the time, drip wasn't a word yet, you know. But I said something to that effect, like, "I like your outfit," you know. Like I was digging her drip, you know. And I gave her a fist pound, you know, like, "Good job." And she like fist pounded me like with disgust, and I was like, I got in her head because she's like, don't you put me in the friend zone type deal. And once I realized that she did that, that's when I knew. I was like, aha, so she sees me in another light, you know? She sees me, she's attracted to me, and she just found that disgusting, you know? Like, don't you fucking put me in the friend zone. And then after that I knew. Like, and then after that we started like running into each other everywhere, and after a while I was just like, okay, like we gotta go on a date. That's just it. Oh. One day Kat will be on here. She'll tell you the whole story, and probably be a little bit different. And she'll probably be like, "Yeah, he was chasing me." It's like whatever. It's like you
Kat,
work where I.
we're gonna believe you.
Yeah, yeah. She has a different story. The way she makes it sound like I was stalking her. I'm like, yeah, listen, I run like this place that we have out here. It's called the Channel. So like where the water comes through what used to be a peninsula, then they dredged it out and they created like a channel through this underneath this bridge that we have here. And I run the channel every day. Well, at the time, I was running it every day, so it's like a 3.5, maybe 4 mile loop. And she used to work by this little restaurant that was down in the channel. It was like Burgers by the Bridge or something. And so she would see me, and I was just like, see, we just keep running into each other. And then like I bought her a meal at Chipotle. I paid for her meal. And then, anyways, long story short, like we just ran into each other everywhere. And I was like, all right, this is too serendipitous not to do it. So, oh yeah.
I like that
But
movie
yeah,
reference you made.
what's that?
I like that movie reference you made.
Yeah, Serendipity. It's a good movie.
One of
John
my
Cusack.
favorite movies. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, what's his name made one of the greatest monologues about his death. I mean, he didn't die in the movie, but I remember he was just like, he's like, I wrote out your what is it?
Eulogy. Yeah.
The eulogy. And
Yeah. John Cusack in that movie.
yeah, and his buddy is the one that wrote it, and he was like a writer in the movie for like a newspaper or something like that. But he made this article for it, and like I remember just listening to that, and I was like, man, they don't make movies like this anymore.
No, they don't.
But yeah, so long story short, like I make sure that I look good for her, and she reciprocates and makes sure that she looks good for me, and I think that's very important. I think that's so important to not forget who who fell in love with it, like what you fell in love with and what they fell in love with too. You know, like maintain yourself, please.
So there's an occasional day where like I'll go to the gym and then for some reason I'll get busy and I may stay in gym clothes for majority of the day.
Go.
But pretty much every day I try to get up and get dressed and go do something in regular clothes just to feel normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you have to drive. You have to drive something you like to drive. I mean, some people can only afford a Hyundai. You know, I get it. It sucks. Life's too short not to drive something cool, man. I love a V8. I like driving stick shifts. I like V8. You know, I like diesels. You know, I like driving a diesel truck. I like knowing I can pull a house off its fucking anchors. You know,
I love the smell of a diesel engine.
Until you delete it, and then you're like, "Fuck, it stinks like this."
I don't mind that smell. I like the smell of gasoline too. I'm weird like that. I could be at the pump and I'm like, yeah, I like that.
They used to make a commercial about that where this girl, I think it was like Jeff Gordon in the commercial. She's like, she smells Jeff as he passes by, and she's like, "Is that 110 octane?" And he's like, "That's right."
Yes,
I think that might be something psychological. Like, is anybody that likes the smell of gasoline is probably a low IQ. Probably has no filter.
That's probably fair. Yeah, that's me.
I love the smell of gas, bro. That's so funny that you said that. I haven't thought about that in years, but it does smell damn good. Racing fuel smells great.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how we got it. I just chased a fucking rabbit hole.
Yeah, this is what we do, and this is again we've kind of coined this as a junk episode just because it's we haven't recorded in a while, and we needed to spend some time together and do it. This is our therapy. So thank you for joining our therapy session. We do have guests on. I think I mentioned it earlier. We have guests on the hook. We had another recording on Sunday evening. And then we have another guest next Friday. One of my friends who's a sergeant here on the department. So we recorded a previous episode where we talked about women in law enforcement. And during the course of that episode, we both sat here and were like, we really need a female officer to be here to kind of give us their perspective, because we're just giving our male perspectives on it. And we didn't knock on women in law enforcement. As a matter of fact, we promoted it. We think there should be more of them. Mm-hmm. But she's definitely somebody that is a good steward of the law enforcement profession, and as a female. And I'm super excited to have her on. So next week we will be recording with her. And again, we appreciate you being here for this episode. We're just kind of rambling right now and talking about kind of our lessons learned and us starting up and chasing a few rabbits. A couple other topics I did want to cover before we wrapped up here is we talked about like how we got started and like the kind of the lessons that we've learned along the way. What podcasts do you consume? Like, who are your favorite podcasters?
Of course, I love Sean Ryan because he's not politically correct. You know, like if he doesn't know something, he'd be like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, that's
what
fair.
The hell that means, you know? And like, I love that. Like, I like Joe Rogan too, but man, he has that thing down to a science, right?
Yeah.
And like, he will investigate and like probably knows more about the subject matter than the person that's going on, you know, or just as much, you know, like so I do appreciate that too, but I love the rawness of Sean Ryan. Mm-hmm. And I, you know what the other one was? It was called The Real Ones, and it was the John Bernthal. He had a podcast, I haven't logged on to check out any of his like latest or if he's still doing it or not, but it was called The Real Ones, and he was like interviewing all these like ex-cons, these cops from like the Rampart days in LAPD, and like he was getting like Crips, right? Like the gang, you know, like gang affiliated, like former gang people. And he was getting like an old LA County sheriff, like deputy, like from the same age, same era. And like he would get them on at the same time. And there was nothing but respect there. And I thought that was so cool, that he was bringing two worlds, and bringing them together in one little bubble and just having a sit down between them. And they would just rap back and forth. And he was getting like Fallons on there. And then he was getting like FBI agents that went undercover and like the ones that like infiltrated like the HA and stuff like that. And then he ended up having like two actors. He had Shia LaBeouf on there, and then he had, which was a really good episode. And then he also had
a good episode.
He had this other actor. His last name is Cabrera, I think, but he's the one that plays in the movie was the End of Watch. He was like the Mexican kid on there.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And he was like one of the ones that were in the van that were going to assault the cops and ambush them. But his I think his last name is Cabrera. But man, like his interview was so raw, and like I loved every bit of it. And of course, having access to the people that with these great stories is that's one of those things, which makes it interesting. But I like those styles. It's just like, and the guy's a real person too, like John, like that guy. He's just super genuine. And like, if he doesn't know something, he'll say, I don't know anything about that. Like, inform me, like talk to me. Like, what's that like? Or what's this like? And I wouldn't say I'm trying to cater to being like that, but I kind of am like that. Like, I'm not the smartest person in the room. And I'm not afraid to admit that, like I'm confident with myself. But I don't know everything, and I kind of like that, I kind of like their, where they're coming from. And so I those three podcasts are probably the ones that I watch. And then White Underbelly is another one.
I haven't seen that one.
That one's really good. And his style of podcast is really crazy because he'll just put the person up on a stool and then just go, and we're live. Or like, and go. And then the person just sits there. You never hear him ask questions.
Really?
Yeah. And it's just one person that sits on the couch or on the chair and just goes and just tells their whole story. And it's like, remember that movie? What was it called? I think it's called War Dogs. Those guys that were war profiteering they were like getting government contracts for firearms, and they ended up getting in over their head. And then they had to go to like some Slavic country, and they were buying ammo from them, but they had to repackage it because the ammo was actually it was like Soviet, but they couldn't, or it was Chinese or something like that, and like they couldn't purchase that because the United States had some kind of like issue with that, and so they had to like. Anyways, he had that guy on there, and just like a bunch of like really cool people, and Kat turned me on to that, and so I think those are the four podcasts that I'm actually like you said, like that I'm attracted to watching. So what about you?
So I'm not a Rogan guy. Like I do respect Joe Rogan and the fact like that dude is like a vivacious reader. Like he does a lot of homework on his guests before they come on. Like if his guest has written 5 books, he's reading all 5 books before they come on. Mm-hmm. So I respect that he is that professional. He does that level of digging before his guests come on, so that he's prepared. That's a level of preparedness that most people won't even attempt. But I'll watch his podcast if they have a guest that I'm like super interested in. Like the Jordan Peterson episode, that was a 3-hour episode, but every bit of that 3 hours was good. But for me, like I watch Cameron Haynes. He's a big bow hunter in Oregon, but he's a raw guy. He has his own podcast, but he also has a sub podcast called Lift Run Shoot, and he'll have athletes out there. He'll have like some celebrities, he'll have UFC fighters, and so it's kind of a very raw podcast. And but there's always the component of lifting, cardio event. They'll carry a rock up a mountain, and then he'll take them out to this bow rack and teach them how to shoot a bow, and then he'll podcast with them. It's kind of cool. And then
that's awesome.
I like Chris Williams, anything he's on. And then there's another podcast that I just started following. It's called The Deep End with Taylor Welch. It's more of a biblical backstory podcast, but it's very good. And like really when I'm watching and consuming some of these podcasts, I kind of look at their background setups and like, all right, well, how can I'm not trying to steal from them because I mean they have money to invest and stuff like that, but I'm like, how can I make my current setup look a little bit more professional? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I like you. You mentioned it earlier that you prefer to watch your podcast.
Mhm.
I don't. I'll listen to a podcast on Spotify every once in a while if I don't have the ability to watch it, but I prefer to watch a podcast over to listen to it.
Yeah. I feel like I retain the information a lot better if I'm actually watching the person,
Right.
The other thing I watch too is Grantham. I fucking just love that guy.
Yeah.
That
I didn't
guy's
know he had a podcast. I watch his reels and stuff, but
well, I mean, he has a YouTube channel, and so I'll just watch those, and usually each one is like 30 or 40 minutes long, and he's talking about a certain firearm or whatever, and like I geek out on shit like that, and it's so cool because he's just like he's funny, he's witty, and like the information he's putting out is truthful, and then sometimes he'll throw in like little zingers in here and there, not to be taken serious and stuff, but I just love his I love his energy and I love what they're doing, and they're just being themselves, and it's entertainment, it's entertaining, and it's educational at the same time. And he's, it's like LARPing at this point is what he's doing, because he's like in full battle rattle, and he's on his own private property somewhere in like the Northwest. And like, it's like three dumbass friends that got together and just decided to make these videos. And like, and society just said, hey, like, bless off on them, and like it just took off. And I would love to be on that show, and not even to be on it, but just to hang around with those guys and just have some good laughs. I think I imagine I kind of I sympathize with him because that's what I want to do. I just want to hang out with my friends and do hood rat shit,
so I think we do that. Let's like in the spring. I've talked about flying out there at some point in time. I would have to fly, not drive, because if I drive down there, I will stay forever.
Hell yeah.
But I think sometime in the spring, like I'll fly down for like a weekend. But then we fill your garage with guests, like people that want to
Down.
hang out. We'll record a podcast and we'll record some like B-roll footage and stuff too. We can go hang out but we'll be mic'd up the entire time.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most genuine that you're going to find us. I think we could get some super good content for the viewers, and it'd be super fun too.
What, Ryan, I still haven't asked. What made you want to do a podcast with me?
It's your charisma and your nature. Like when I thought about starting a podcast, I was like, I really like to do it with somebody that makes me laugh the entire time. Like I'm not as witty as you are. Like you are super witty, and I think we feed off of each other. But I remember when I was your boss, and even times that I was frustrated with the team, if there was some issues going on or something like that, there was always you would make me laugh in a manner that I was like, man, I can't be mad at this guy.
Yeah. I can see that. If it's between crying and smiling, I'd rather smile,
Mm-hmm.
I think I used to wonder why some people would, fight or flight, they would sit there and smile. Like, have you ever seen somebody like you're yelling at them and they'll smile, but like they don't realize that they're doing it, and it's like almost like a nervous thing. Have you ever seen somebody like that?
Mm-hmm.
And like they're not trying to be funny, like they're just like smiling because they're nervous. And like I think I do that with humor. It's like, oh man, like let's break the ice here, like
You're super quick with it sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, damn, bro, like where did that come from?
oh man,
But you're a genuine dude too, and that I respect and appreciate. Like I know at one point I was your boss, but like you had my respect a long time ago, and like your story is important too. I know you haven't told much of your story on the podcast, and I'm sure we'll get into that at some point in time. We'll both collectively tell our stories, but like I'm super proud of who you are as a human and a man, and so yeah, it was kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Ryan. That's nice of it's nice to hear that, and I wasn't trying to pull that out just to to get compliments or anything like that. But one of the reasons why I knew that when you asked me to do a podcast, like I was like, oh, it's gonna hit. I know it because you're so intellectual and you're so smart and you're very controlled in an appropriate way that when you speak, you have a way of speaking that people listen. Like I have a way of speaking where people are like, Jesus Christ, did you just say that? You know, like, so like you possess that yang to my yin or vice versa, whatever. But, and I was just like, man, I really respect you ever since you were my boss. Like you're probably one of the guys that I would say, like, if you said like, hey, you know, we're going to go do this. We're going to go do this lowbrow shit right now. And I'll be like, all right, let's go. Like, cause I know that you wouldn't do anything stupid and you know, the juice is going to be worth a squeeze and, you know, you're not reckless. So I was just like, yeah, of course. And I've always held you, in that because you're always questioning, like, if what we're doing right now was a mission, you would always be like, are we in the right on this? Like, is this the right thing to be doing? And I caught that early on with you, and I was just like, yeah, you know, like I'll go to war for you, and I'll go to war with you, and I'll take a bullet for you any day. And that's where I was just like, you know what, like I'll do this for sure with Ryan, you know, and he allows me to be who I am, and he doesn't judge me. And that was the other part.
But 100%, like I always wanted to have fun at work, and I think you should have fun at work, regardless of what you're doing. But there are times when work is not fun, and I like to be around people that can make even the worst situation fun. You know what I mean?
Oh man. Okay. Sidebar. Do you remember that time that those warrant officers, I think they were lieutenants, they were like part-time lieutenants, they came in and they had pissed on the hooch. They had pissed on our duty ride. They got drunk and they peed on our, you know, the hooch was like the hidden, our hidden task force building, you know, our operations center. And I remember these guys were out there and there was like beer bottles and stuff. And like, they were higher ranked than me. They're commissioned. And then Charlie's like, yeah, somebody pissed on my car too, or something like that. And you went out there and you're like, all right, guys. And of course they're commissioned, you're a warrant officer. So I was just like, ooh, this is gonna be a good fight. You know, like this is like Ryan has the ability to speak on this right now. And you went to war for us. Like it was, you know, you didn't have to. And then Chief Orchesi kicked in. I was like, oh, fuck. Dad's out here now, you know, like, holy shit. I remember just sitting there like, and I remember Charlie was the one that noticed it. And and afterwards, like, I was like, hey, Charlie, are you sure that they peed on the car? And he's like, I think so. And I was like, motherfucker, you better fucking know right now. And to this day, I don't think he knew for sure, but...
They may not have, but they...
Oh, man. Remember, they had to take our car to the wash rack or wash it or something like that. I remember that. Mm-hmm. I was like, holy shit. I think, not that was required for you to get my respect, but that just threw me over the edge with you. I was like, fucking Ryan's down. It was kind of cool. Yeah. I don't know how I got to thinking about that right now, but that was funny as shit.
I miss those days, man. Those are fun times.
It was always I was always so afraid of pissing everybody off, but I could never take any. And that's just because like you knew me from, like if you would have met me before war, then it would have been into somebody completely different. But after war, I was like, life is too short not to be making fun of everything.
But it's a different work. So we're kind of chasing a rabbit right now for everybody. We apologize. But your work environment has a lot to do with that. Like I knew that I had top cover with Mauro Orchesi. I knew that whatever I did, good, wrong, indifferent, whatever, he was going to have my back. Just like you guys knew that I would have your back. So it makes for a whole lot better environment when you know that you have top cover and you're supported by your leadership and your team. It's if you don't, it's very hard to be. It's hard to have fun, and two, it's hard to be your best when you don't have that.
Yeah, those were some fun days, man. Like I definitely felt like you were always going to be behind our backs, like 100% to have our corner if we were doing everything ethically, morally, and appropriately. You know, like if we were doing something dumb, I'm sure that you'd have been like, "Hey, fuck, you're on your own on this one." Like, you guys stepped out of line, but you were always there for sure, and I appreciate that. So that's why, Ryan, I will always say, like, if you wanted to start building motorcycles, I'd be like, let's do it. Like, fuck it. Because
Maybe one day. So
this-
my ultimate goal one day is if this ever takes off, I do I have plans in the future. I want to buy some land and build a barn dough on it. But if this takes off and I can justify building a studio in it, then I'll build out a studio and maybe this turns into a full-time gig at some point in time. But we'll see.
That'd be wild for sure. Yeah.
I ultimately would love to buy enough land to where I can like have a cult. I want to be like, you can build a house here. You can build a house here. You can build a house here.
Oh man, could you imagine if we got like 40 or 50 acres, maybe more? Like, yeah, maybe like 70 acres. And like let's fuck it. Let's call it 80 acres. So it's a nice round number. And like we all just like had like 10 acres of our own, and like just like 8 or 9 guys, and it's like a community cult that you've built. Yeah, that would be funny. It's like, I'm gonna go over to Ryan's house, like, or I'm gonna go to Sal's house, or I'm gonna go to Matt's house, like, and you just like kind of like walking down the street, like maybe chugging a beer. Who knows, you know, like we're riding a side by side to your buddy's house, and then like he's got a fire, and then people hit you up like, hey, where you at right now? It's like, oh, I'm at Matt's.
We're
right
at the
now.
campfire.
He's got the campfire. Oh shit, I'll be right over. And that mentality is kind of like this place where I live. Like my buddy pulled in the other night. I had the garage doors open and the lights on, and he just pulls in a side by side, and he lives down the road, and he used to be in law enforcement with me. But he pulls up, and I'm not a big drinker anymore, you know, but I still have cold ones just in case, you know. And he pulled up, and like he sat on my couch, and we just talked about anything. We just caught up, and my garage is always open, and that's the thing. And so I have that here, and it's a good feeling, bro. It's such a good feeling when like my neighbors have told me straight up, like, you're not allowed to move. Like, you're not. We don't want any other neighbors. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I guess I'm stuck here, you know? But yeah, that would be so awesome if you could have that shit. Who knows if this will take off? If it does, I don't know if I'd quit my job. The fuck was that, Ace?
Netflix.
Oh shit. That scared the fuck out of me right now. Like even Ace turned and he's like, the fuck?
Cat's trying to watch Stranger Things.
I know. What are you doing over there? Don't be watching nothing I can't fucking come back from right now, please. Yeah, no. But yeah, I think that would be really cool. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like if this takes off, who knows? Like if it did, you know, I think I'm in a point in my life where I'd probably say like, yeah, sure, like let's walk away from this, like and just have fun bro. Like if I won $1 million, I'd probably just reinvest it and just live off the interest and just have fun. You know, I love going to Utah. I love traveling and going to like national parks. I love it, but I hate people. Does that make sense?
Same. I'm the same. No, I can people for a little while. I think I'm I say all the time that I'm not a people person, but I am. I talk to strangers all the time, like it's nothing. But there's a certain point when I've had enough of people, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm done for the day. I don't feel like talking to anybody else.
Oh, that's funny. I'm like that. That's probably why we're kindred spirits. I say I hate people, and then I hope people know that I'm joking, but there's kind of a bit of me that does not like people.
I don't like stupid people, but
You're going to be disappointed.
oh, I know.
You're setting yourself up for a world of hurt, bro. Oh, man. That's funny. But yeah, guys, I don't know how we got to talking about this stuff. It just kind of flows. And like Ryan said, this is therapy. This is what we do. This is a filler episode this week just for us to kind of get back into the groove of things. We got some guests coming up on Sunday. And then next Friday, we're going to have Ryan's friend from Tennessee. So that'll be kind of fun to switch the gears and then have Ryan interview somebody there. And then I can just be a little bit of a spectator and then just let him take the reins. So that'll be kind of fun. But yeah, apologies if we got on to rant, and that's mostly just me because Ryan just keeps trying to reel me back in and saying like, let's talk about these talking points. But yeah, if you guys are out there and you're listening and you're in my community and you want to be on the podcast, like I'm more than willing to have you here. I'm going to do a quick pat down, make sure you're not bringing any dope into my house or guns. You know, that's probably the worst thing that's going to happen to you. But that's a joke, guys. But I would love to have more of my friends on here. And for the people that fear that I'm going to get them fired, it's a fear of my own as well. So we'll just be in the same boat.
I promise I will not intentionally get you fired.
Yeah.
I'm just HR. I know you're listening right now, but no, he's good. Like
I have my old boss watching over me, guys. So,
but no, we are gonna wrap up this episode. Thank you everybody who has been paying attention to our stories for the past couple of months. Like this is the 9th episode. We're getting ready to hit the double digits. We appreciate all the support that we've gotten thus far. We would love for you to like and subscribe to our content, just so we can we can justify spending more money to get you better quality stuff.
help me spend my money, please.
But
help me.
but
help
again,
myself.
we enjoy doing this. This has been super fun. It is therapeutic. We would love to have you on here. If you are considering being on the podcast, reach out to us. We will talk through it, like whether or not you want to do it virtually or you want to come in person. Sal's got couches and bedrooms. I don't. If you come, you want to be in person here, you better be local, or else you're going to sleep on the couch. But we would love to have you on. We want to hear your stories. We're excited about doing this, so please reach out to us, and we're going to reach out. We have a friends list that we're going to be reaching out to as well. Even if you just want to hang out in the background and watch an episode being recorded, we can do that too. Some people may not be as comfortable being on camera and on microphone yet, but we'll get you there. Let's say you just want to hang out for a couple episodes until you're ready. We get it. It's a lot of people get nervous about this because they're like, "Oh, I'm not a public speaker." I'm not either. Like neither is Sal. We're winging this. Half the time I go back and watch what we've recorded, and I'm like, "Oh my God!" But it is what it is. It's fun doing this. We enjoy it, and we're glad you're tuned in. So thank you.
I appreciate you. And that's all I'm going to say is I appreciate this.
So without further ado, I'm going to close out this episode. Again, like, follow, and subscribe, and we love you, fam.
Bye, guys.